You can't create an intentional route from point A to point B if you haven't figured out what point B is yet. Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to achieve? Setting those goals and getting really clear about them is paramount in you being able to live a life with intention, right? And aligning those intentions, those goals with your values, making sure that the things that you're putting your energy into, the things that you're focused on, aligns with your core, aligns with what's important to you, aligns with your belief system. When you're working out of that space, it's very personal. You get to decide what that looks like. You get to decide how that's shaped. But when you do it, you really accelerate your chances of being successful. When you're working from a place that's really deep down connected to who you are as a person, your true self, you're putting all of your energy into the right places, the places that are going to move you from where you are to where it is you want to go. I'm not talking about a quick fix. I'm not talking about some resolution because of the days on the calendar. Well, what I'm saying is you've spent some time with yourself and you've decided that you want something different than what you have today. There's many different aspects of our lives. We just did a vision board party Monday night, and one of the things that everybody got was a goal setting worksheet. And it wasn't just a blank template for them to just freeform. It helped you to think about the areas of your life and where you would like to see something different. There's your spiritual life, there's your relationships, there's your work life, there's all these different parts of your life, your family life. Where, when you look at those different areas, where does your mind go? This is great, but there's buts. You'd like something different, or maybe it isn't great at all. You'd like for it to be completely different. Those are the areas of your life where you can start to set some clear goals because you know you want something different for that aspect of you. So once you know you want something different, then it's time to kind of dream about what that ideal space would look like. If we're talking about relationships, maybe you're at odds with a lot of people in your family and it's your real desire to be close to some of those people. What does that look like? What has to change? Do you need to set boundaries and articulate to them what's making it difficult? Do you need to be a little less sensitive and able to have good conversation and accept maybe some constructive criticism? Maybe you've offended somebody, but you've gotten caught up in the blame game. Who knows? But in your relationships, are they happening and formed the way that you would like? Ask yourself that same thing about your career. Ask yourself that about your spiritual life. Ask yourself that about how you take care of you. Are you in good relationship with you? Do you practice self-care? Do you have a positive mindset and a good inner advocate for yourself? Or do you have negative self-talk that's playing all the time that's stopping you from reaching the goals that you have for yourself? There's no right answer. And the answer only belongs to you. When you do that good introspection and you really take the time to think about where it is you are in these different aspects of your life, you can determine when there needs to be something different. And then it's just a matter of creating that plan. Once you've created the plan that you want to do something different, now that intentionality really kicks in. The commitment kicks in. What am I willing to do differently than what I'm doing right now? Those are the questions that you have for yourself. And when you start to give the good, real answers, get real with you. When you get to that point, there's nothing that you can't really have if you're willing to do the work and you've got the clarity, right? And so I've got a room full of people that are looking back at me. Fam Five, say hello to Erica. Erica is excited to be here with us this morning. She has introduced herself, and we are about to. Erica, if you're ready, I'm going to pitch it over to you. I'm noticing that I'm about to lose power in one of my devices. So while you're getting started, I'm going to turn this camera off and get that set so I don't lose part of the audience in a few minutes. So, Erica, living intentionally is a daily practice of aligning your actions with your values, creating a life that reflects your true self.
Thank
Deborah,
you.
what does that bring up for you? What would you like to share? And once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you with us on the Cassandra Terry Morning Show.
Good
To you,
morning,
Erica.
Cassandra. Good morning, Fam 5. Happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for having me. Again, as introduced this morning, I wanted to use Wake Up Wednesday and intentionality to really align my passions for my true self, as you mentioned. I want to engage with a community of people that share, my values, that share my insights, that can really help me to build on the things that empower me. So I'm here today to be intentional and, build camaraderie, and seek engagement, and as well as empowerment. So when I think of this quote here, aligning my actions with my values for my true self, I'm thinking of, my presence as not to alleviate the skepticism in my presence, to put a face to my name and to my words and to my actions, and to really be my true self in rare form, in my actual authentic self, instead of, hiding behind captions or quotes or filters and things of that sort. I really want to show up for my audience of peers and colleagues. So one of the things, now that I'm open to work now, and my point of being intentional in networking visually, building my visibility, is to get leaders and my peers and my colleagues to see that I do have good communication, I do have good team dynamics, and to really build on that in order to support my goals. And one of the things that I mentioned to Miss Cassandra was wonder. I found that pretty much up until I turned 40, I was pretty much navigating life blindly, and I think I mentioned this on one of her previous sessions, ignorance is bliss. And I felt like, as long as it wasn't affecting me, I didn't need to know about it. But then when things did start to affect me and they did start to change my perception and my views on things, then I had to, as we're talking about here, be intentional. I had to really truly address the things that were affecting me. I had to take them head on. I had to express my feelings about them. I had to take actions on them. So it was like ignorance was not my friend anymore. And I really had to, use wisdom wisely. I had to be intentional and have a path. How do I get out of this? How do I rectify this? How do I build stronger bonds? So that's my point of being here with you guys today. And I'm hoping that, you're going to um, give me more, constructive criticism as well, to help me, okay, that path doesn't sound like that fits your intention, or that goal doesn't sound sound. I really want to, garner my community to help me in my self discovery. So that would be my answer, Miss Cassandra. Denise, does anyone else want to jump in?
Well, love, love, love the share. We are so glad to have you with us. We had and I like I said in the beginning, the things that you were sharing, the comments that you dropped, they were so on point and they were so thoughtful that I am so glad that you've made the decision to put yourself out there, to share your face, share your voice, allow people to get to know you on a deeper level, because there's so much there. It was so obvious every time you were in the room. I don't know how many times I shared your comments on the screen, because they really resonated and they aligned so beautifully with the conversation. So I feel like we're just kind of peeling back the layers here and just getting a glimpse of what's, you're the iceberg, and you're sticking out of the water, but we know underneath the surface there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And so
There's
we are
some roots
so
for sure.
so we are so excited to be a part of your journey, to get to know you better. Keep coming and sharing your thoughts. That your comments always light up. They encourage me. They fulfill my purpose for showing up every day. To know that somebody's out there, they're getting it, they're resonating with what we're talking about, encourages me to keep going, to keep doing more. So I
Yeah.
am so excited that you said yes, and that you came with intention. You didn't say yes just because, but you said yes for a reason that resonates with where you're going in your life, and the skills and the things that you're wanting to accomplish. That's intentionality. Yeses
That's
are easy, but nos are important too when things don't align. If I asked her to do something and we were going to be talking nothing about, maybe baking today, and she could have gotten camera time, she could have got the opportunity to talk. But if she's not building a baking business, or if she doesn't want people to know how great it
and
is
I'm
that
a terrible cook, so I would have never volunteered for that.
and so the no's are important too, because things need to align. Your actions should align with your values. They should align with your goals and your plans. They should be moving you towards where it is that you're trying to go. Showing up on somebody's screen, having the opportunity to be heard by lots of people all over the world, that can be exciting. But it could keep you busy instead of productive. When you
Mhm.
know it folds into and supports where it is you're trying to go, it's a productive conversation. It's a productive use of your time.
And
Otherwise,
I even invited some of my LinkedIn fan base as well, and I got a few confirmations. I didn't count them up, but I'll share. And with intention that, we would discuss things that we share outside of your platform as well. So maybe they're not familiar with you, but that builds your base as well as gets them to see me interact with other people. So
absolutely. Absolutely. That's that reciprocity that we talk about. And when we talk about reciprocity, we're not talking about, tit for tat. I did something for you, so you have to do something for me. No, because sometimes we're just giving, sometimes we're just gifting. But in relationship, there should be some reciprocity. There shouldn't be one person that's doing all the giving, that's carrying the
mhm.
load, that's, while the other person is just kind of hanging out all the time. And sometimes when relationships form organically and when people have the right intention, that reciprocity just naturally happens. I didn't think about your fan base, didn't know whether or not you even had a fan base, but knowing that that's your mindset again aligns you with the type of people that are around me. It's like, I'm getting something out of this. I'm getting the opportunity to cut my teeth in this space and show up in a safe place with people who I know are going to support me and put my message out there. And guess what? I'm going to bring my fans along too and introduce them to these folks. Reciprocity, it's a beautiful thing. And I appreciate that you're even thinking along those lines. Again, that speaks to who you are and how you show up as well. So I'm going to go back to the quote and then I'm going to pitch it over. I think I'll go to Brian next. It's living intentionally is a daily practice. It's a process, guys. It keeps going. It is not something that you're one and done. When you are choosing to live with intention, you wake up every day and go, what am I going to do with the gift of this new day? It's a daily practice of aligning your actions with your values, creating a life that reflects your true self. It takes a lot of energy to show up as somebody other than who you really are. You have to keep remembering who you're pretending to be. You have to keep the mask up. It is exhausting. And while you're spending all that energy on that, you don't have that energy to actually put into the work that you need to do to create the life that you're trying to create. That fake it till you make it thing, I understand what people mean by that, but really what you want to do, faith it till you make it. Remain hopeful, believe in yourself and in your dreams and that you can get it done, but show up as who you really are, because you want to pull the people to you who are really going to support the real you. You want to pull the people to you. You want the people around you that believe in you, that resonate with you, not some polished mask on version of yourself, because now you got to keep that facade up in order to keep those people interested. So that was the thing about you, Erica. You showing up in the comments, no visual, no background, no nothing, but just the comments that you were leaving just gave me an insight into the type of person that you are, and I wanted to know more. So
Yes,
showing up as your true self gives you that. All
thank
right,
you.
Brian, with that, let me kick it over to you. Let's see if Brian is somewhere where he can speak. Uh-oh, looks like we just lost him. All right, Denise, are you ready to go? You ready to share with us this morning?
Sure, sure. Good morning, Grand Rising. Welcome, Erica. I really appreciated your comments. I believe I found you on LinkedIn and I requested a connect real quick. So if you don't see that, I got the wrong Erica Harris and I'll have to
I'll follow you, Denise. Don't worry. I'll find
Okay.
you.
So, good morning, everybody. Again, Grand Rising. This is my favorite day, Cassandra. I love Wake Up Wednesdays. It's my favorite topic. And I think it's because, so whether you're 20 or 30 or 40 years old, there are these points you hit. You hit milestones in your life. For some people, it's a birthday. It's like that 21, 40. There's certain ones where the world says, that's a big one, right? Cassandra, you're coming up. You always mention you're coming up on your 25th wedding anniversary. Hey, the world says that's a big one. It's this pivotal, recognizable milestone that you've hit. And one of the reasons I like Wake Up Wednesday is because when I have hit these wow moments, these light bulb moments where something goes ping, ping, you got to do better. Erica said ignorance is not, you can say ignorance is bliss, or but you can't use that at certain ages. You can't say I didn't know. There's a certain place you get to. And so I've had these wow moments at times when nobody said that was a time to have that. Nobody said, when you're 40, this is what you're supposed to know. It was just a moment for me where I was like, I have to do better. I have to grow up. I have to stop repeating the same mistakes. And so when you talk about lining things up with your values, it's like Wake Up Wednesday is about looking at yourself, looking in the mirror and saying, I need to wake the F up. Like, I need to wake up. I need to get over this. I need to do better, whatever that thing is. And you're sitting here trying to look at who's doing what across the street, and you're not taking care of business in your own house. It's about looking at you, looking at yourself. You imagine if you were comparing you and Timothy's life with somebody else who had been married 25 years. What if they were doing this or doing that or traveling around the world or doing whatever, and you're comparing yourself to them? The best comparison is to yourself and to your values and where you want to go and what you want to do. So you were talking about concrete goals, and I'm so focused, really hyper focused this morning and like this entire maybe last 2 years, I think, last year or two, on that internal work. I've been focused on how I think, how I treat myself, how I talk to myself, how I show up for myself so I can wake up for myself. They had this thing, I think it was all trendy to be talking about being woke like last year and, being this and that maybe 2 years ago. And it's like, if you're here, if you're listening, if you show up every day, like Erica, you're always showing up for the show. If you're a person that's always in the comments, to me, you're already to a degree of being awake and showing up for yourself, because you're coming in to communicate and to get some gems from people that are on the same page as you. You want to be with like-minded people. So it just feels like that time to say, keep showing up for yourself, keep doing your best for yourself. Look at where you need to do something for yourself and do that thing. Do that thing that means you're going to be better. All of those little levels. Is it in your finances, your physical health, your mental health? Is it in your goals? Is there a goal that you wanted to meet that you didn't meet? You can't be worried about goals if you're not taking care of your health, because you're going to be sick, So I'm saying meet all those other levels for yourself. And then these things like getting out here and writing books, putting on a morning show 5 days a week, showing up for other people, running a business, they will come easier when you start looking at yourself, saying, I'm going to do my best for me, mentally, physically, financially. I'm going to start showing up for myself and improving so that I can be my best self, and then run after those life goals, because it'll be easier to do that because your head will be clear and you'll feel good physically. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, Erica, welcome. So nice to see your beautiful face, and so happy to be here.
Thank you. I wanted to piggyback off of one of your comments. I wrote a little acronym here as you was talking for woke. Willingness, openness keeps engagement. And I found that to really be part of my intentionality is that I really had to be willing, I really had to be open, and I really had to engage in order to break some of those vicious cycles that were, following me or affecting me. So thank you.
Another acronym, lady. Love it, love it, love it. Anybody who spent any time around me knows how much I love acronyms and acrostics, and I use them all the time because they just make it easy for you to remember and recall important content. So that's great. Those are the types of gems she's been dropping all along, guys. So that's one of the reasons why we absolutely had to have her here. Denise, while you were sharing, I was thinking about intent. When you were talking, I was thinking about how self-care is foundational to everything else that we're doing. Foundational. My husband got on to me yesterday about that. He saw me drinking something. I think it was sweet tea, but it was, Southern sweet tea. So it's really sweet, which means it's too much sugar. And he was saying, you use your voice more and more every day. You're talking every day, first thing in the morning. You're talking all day at work. You're on rooms and stuff in the evenings. We're talking as family. And he's like, you use your voice all the time. And now you need your voice and you need it to be strong. So you need to make sure you're getting get rid of that sweet tea, get your hot tea in the morning, make sure you're getting your honey, keep your water nearby and make sure you're staying hydrated. Because if you get sick, everything that you're building, everything that you're working on, it all goes away. You're not there to pour into it. Either you've got to depend on that of others or it's going to go away. So if you don't do the foundational things, if you're not intentional about taking care of yourself, and I'm preaching to me right now, because literally you just kind of punctuated what he was saying yesterday, Denise. If you're not doing the right things for you and your health, then you end up losing everything, or at least diminishing what it could be, or you make the experience not as good as it could be because you don't feel well. You're pushing through, Jay. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. It just kind of slipped out. You're pushing through, but you can't really enjoy the experience because you don't feel well. And then you drag out how long it takes you to get better because you're not giving your body what it needs and the rest and the nourishments and all that good stuff. So our health, our taking care of us is foundational. And so I'm going to set that intention, reset that intention for myself today. I'm going to take it one day at a time because I've got some bad habits in that space. And it's so easy when I get really busy to fall back to those bad habits. So for today, my intention is to only consume things that are going to be good for my body. And what I drink and what I eat and what I think and what I watch on TV, it doesn't matter. Whatever I am choosing to consume today is going to be good for my body. And when you set the intention, it just kind of brings it to the forefront of your mind. And when I go to grab the wrong thing, what I expect is that I'm going to hear my voice saying, what you said was, and this isn't aligning with that. And I'm saying it out loud to the people around me because that gives you permission to hold me accountable to the words that just came out of my mouth. So if you see me drinking a pop or some sweet tea instead of my water or some good juice, or, if I'm grabbing candy instead of fruit, hey, your girl said she was only going to consume things that were good for her body for the next 24 hours. I'll let y'all know how it went in the morning. But for now, that's the intention for the next 24 hours. If I make it beyond that, then it gets big. It gets so big that I may slip up. And then you get in this spiral of frustration. So small, consistent steps. If I do it today, then tomorrow I'm just setting myself up to do it again. I'm not talking about a week from now. I'm not talking about a month from now. Certainly not talking about a year from now. But if you do those small, consistent steps, you build up to the week. You build up to the month. You build up to the year. You incorporate those better habits. You replace the old with the good. And before you know it, that becomes your lifestyle. And we can do that in every aspect of our lives. You were going to say something, Erica?
Yeah, I was going to say personalizing your goals are really important too, because that helps you pick out your triggers. Like for me, coffee, you're saying sweet tea is yours, but for me, it's like the smell of coffee, the thought that I get the energy from it. But sometimes when I go without it, it's like, okay, well, what that day that I really needed it, what was my trigger versus this day where I went without it, what didn't happen that helped me go without it. So
Exactly.
I like your take on self-care, personalizing it as well.
Absolutely. You have to, because it needs to align with you and what's important to you. And in doing that personalization, you increase your chances. And hey, I tell people all the time, I am not here with all the answers. I'm not here because I've done it all right. I'm here because I've stumped my toe in the dark so many times. And I just want to show you where that obstruction is and say, hey, don't hit your toe there. Your instruction may be completely different, but the process can be the same. And so the idea is to live it out loud, to be as transparent as possible, to not just show up all spit and polish. I'd never get here this early in the morning if I had to do that. But just be real and just talk about what's happening in life with my fam, and hopefully something that we say resonates with some of you. I see my cousin, my beautiful cousin, Eloise. We call her Weta. Welcome, cousin. I haven't seen you in quite some time. Happy New Year. Glad that you were able to join. I love you, love you, love you. Papa E says, I love your hair. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hollow Wood says, true story, big facts. And we've got people steadily coming in. Papa Herd 49. Welcome. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Brian, I see you've made it back. Are you in a position where you can unmic?
I hope so. I love this conversation.
Oh, yes, we can hear you're coming through perfectly. So living intentionally is a daily practice of aligning your actions with your values, creating a life that reflects your true self. Debbie Rebel. As far as that quote is concerned and the conversation that we've had up to this point, what do you want to share?
I'm hearing intention.
Intention.
Yeah, you got to know what you want. But my daughter woke up the other morning. She was like, committed, Dad. She heard us talking. And the first thing that came to her mind was committed, Dad, because she's focused on being in on my conversation, right? Her intention is to know, what is Dad doing? What is he up to? You know, why am I listening to him right now? You know, what is he saying that is impacting me? So when I hear those things, I think about, in order for me to have that wake up moment, I have to be intentional about where I'm putting my focus, right? But if I'm not intentional, if I'm not, definite about where my focus is going, I'm never gonna have a wake up moment. I'm never gonna have that moment where with an aha, that epiphany, where I get to say, let me check myself. Let me check out what these people over here are doing, because it kind of sort of resonates with where I want to go. Let me see. But if I'm not intentional about my focus and what I want to do, then I'm not going to hear you. I'm not going to hear myself. I'm not going to see, like Erica said a few moments ago, I won't be able to see those triggers. I won't be able to recognize, okay, this caused me to have to want to go to the coffee. I said yesterday was my last day of drinking coffee with any type of addict. So I really, really like black coffee. And I know why I like black coffee. Black coffee stimulates me, right? It gets me moving. It's a charge for me. Now I don't necessarily feel the energy, but the bitterness of the coffee wakes me up, right? It's a stark contrast to what I really want. So when I ingest that coffee, bam, I'm up, because this tastes horrible, but I'm ready to go now, right? And when I'm feeling bad and I'm feeling down, I put a little sugar in, I put a little cream in it. But it doesn't really do anything other than lull me. Yesterday, I made the committed decision, the intentional decision, to stop putting sugar and creamer in my coffee. And it's made a world of difference from yesterday to today, because now I don't have that, oh, comfort in, it's cold outside, let me cuddle up in a blanket scent. Now it's that black coffee, let's get your boots on, let's lace up, let's get out here and let's get some work done, right? I was intentional about where my focus went, and it completely changed the trajectory for my week, right? And that's when I look at this quote, living intentionally, that's what
Mhm.
comes to mind. And you got to know where you want to be in order to get there, and you have to take the necessary steps to do it. That's that focus, that's that intentionality, and that's that committedness
Commitment.
that we always talk about.
Yeah, I like his spin on commitment, or Bree's spin, your daughter's spin on commitment, because that goes with intentionality. You have to be committed to your intentions in order for them to work. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. That was my take today. I'm getting ready to go into Starbucks and get the staff at my daughter's school some bagels and some little pastry treats.
Oh,
They all
nice. And your coffee with no sugar and creamer.
Yeah, that's me today. That's me for the rest of the year.
I love it.
add
I
some
love it.
sugar. It's okay. It won't kill you. Sugar is like your energy booster. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do it.
I like
That's
that.
what the honey is for. That's what the honey. My sister-in-law, y'all. I have a sister-in-law who gives the most thoughtful gifts ever. She will not give you something that doesn't just make sense for you. So one of the things that she gave me was a really pretty coffee mug with a nice shiny gold little decor at the bottom, because she knows how much I love bling and shiny, right? And then she bought the warmer so that I could sit it on my desk and keep my tea warm. And then she brought honey stirs, two different kinds. One's like a lemon honey. I'm looking at them across the room, and then another type of honey. And so as I'm stirring my tea, instead of using the spoon or a regular stir, it's a little honey thing on the end. So I'm constantly getting that reinforcement, which is good for my throat, right? Which is good for my energy level from the tea, and it's good for the digestion and all of that. So I love getting gifts from her. They don't have to be expensive. She's not going to go out and just spend a ridiculous amount of money, but the value that she puts into, she's very intentional in her gift giving, because it aligns so perfectly with the individual, what they have going on with in their lives, or what they may need. And every time I look at it, I think about her and just how thoughtful of a person she is. But she knew, she knows how often I'm yakking every single day, and because of that, I need to take care of my throat and of my voice. So yeah, being intentional can show up in so many different ways, in how you approach people, in how you show up in a room. We get into habits. Think about a work situation. Maybe you didn't care too much for the job anymore, and so every morning when you woke up, you were frustrated, and you had to just kind of drag yourself in. And what kind of mindset were you in all day? Just watching the clock, ready for it to be over with. Let me just get this dang job done so I can get out of here. If that's your attitude, imagine how the day drags on. Imagine how just the smallest thing can tip you over the edge, because you woke up, you went into that environment already charged and in a negative headspace. And you may be right. Externally, the position may not be the right environment for you anymore. Externally, maybe there's some people in it that you'd prefer not to have to interact with as often as you do. There could be all kinds of external reasons why you're not excited about getting up and going to that job every day. But you can set your intention to make the best out of that situation. That job may not be the one that I want in the long term, but it's bringing me some finances right now, which allows me to do some of the things that are important for me to do, like flip a switch and my lights come on. I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. I turn a faucet and water comes out. That job is probably part of the reason why those things continue to happen. So if you start to tie the job to some things that are important to you, you have to be intentional about it. You have to make up your mind that you're going to see things differently. You have to make up your mind that you're going to go into that space and make it a better space than what it was before you got there. Right?
Can I chime in, Miss Cassandra? I really like how you brought up work here and the importance, because It's not that sometimes that you don't like the job. Maybe sometimes you just don't like the people you work with. And that's why I feel like being intentional and building connections like here, getting on camera and showing people maybe a different version of you in a different space or something, because to rectify those feelings, or maybe see them in different spaces to rectify your feelings towards them. Because sometimes, judgment and bias and things like that, it can really put a spin on intention, it really
Absolutely.
can. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and my whole point to all of that, the only thing that you can really control in whatever environment that you go into is you. So be intentional about how you show up in that space. Be intentional about what you're bringing in with you. Are you bringing a good attitude? Are you bringing frustration and stress? Are you adding to the problem, or are you trying to make the best of the situation? Are you matching energy? Are you setting the energy? Are you setting the tone? That's what I've committed to do a couple years ago. I do not match energy. If the energy is not what it is that I want in my space, I'll remove myself from that energy. But I'm trying my best not to match it. I'm trying to set the energy so that I am showing up as the best version of myself, despite what's going on around me. Do I get it right 100% of the time? Absolutely not, because I'm still human, so I'm fallible, but I at least have that mindset. I'm at least checking in with myself and trying to make sure that what I bring into the situation is as positive as possible, and that I'm mindful about what I'm focusing on. I can focus on the fact that you hurt my feelings, but am I in a position to have a conversation with you where it's a good adult conversation, or do I need to take a breather, collect myself so that I can respond to you in that situation versus react and actually make the situation worse?
yeah.
We all have that ability, and we just have to stop and think and own how we're showing up in any space at any time, and see what we're contributing to all of these environments. And if you don't like what you're contributing, you can change that. You may not be able to change what somebody else is doing, but you are in absolute control of you. You just have to decide that you're going to take it.
Yeah. Taraji P. Henson made a good point in one of her speeches where she said, nobody wants to know how good your life is. They don't want to know how perfect you are. And that's really important in workspaces and personal spaces, because it's important for people to know the human you, to know that when you do come to work to, do your work, even if, you're having a bad day, that's the human part of you. So that's really important to tie in some other stuff, instead of, like you said, the polished version of yourself. So
Exactly. Exactly. And I see Tiffany is with us, and she said, I just started yesterday working a 9 to 5. I just stated yesterday, working a 9 to 5 is an investment in my happiness. Now, if that's her mindset, if the fact that she's going to work every day is an investment in her own happiness, how do you think she's going to think about that job? How do you think she's going to show up? It's so different than going, oh my God, I got to get up and go to work again this morning. That's a huge difference. And how we're thinking affects how we're feeling, and how we're feeling affects how we behave. So if you can back all the way up to the thinking and connect there and make the necessary adjustments there, how you're thinking will affect how you're feeling. How you're feeling is going to affect how you're acting. So again, foundational. That mindset is the foundation of it all. So I love that comment, Tiffany. Thank you so much for sharing. So Brian, Denise, I can't remember. Have I come to you this morning?
yes.
Okay. Okay. I don't remember coming to you this morning. So I guess that brings us over to you, Brother Jay. Jay, I am going to once again read the quote, and then we are going to silence our mics and let you do your thing. So living intentionally is a daily practice of aligning your actions with your values, creating a life that reflects your true self. Deborah Rebel. What does that bring up for you, Jay?
Well, let me read the scripture that came to mind. Um, and it was immediate. And especially with what you were saying earlier at the start of the show, um, ab- and about alignment. and faith. And it's from the first book of Samuel, chapter 17, verse 34 through 36. And it's, but David said to Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God." Intention. If that's not intention, then nothing is. 2024 may seem like a giant at this moment. We're about 10 days in now, and it's actually a leap year. So we've got one more additional day, right? So 356 days to go. Seems like a long time. What can we accomplish, right? But let's look at the Bible verse and really understand it. What it is David's intention and his purpose driven approach to his role as a shepherd demonstrates his responsibility. That's proactive protection, personal risk taking, right? His learned skills, but his unwavering dedication to God's cause. And it made it his cause. That's intentionality. And it set the stage for David's later triumph over Goliath. And then it also set the stage for him to become the next ruler, right? And if we just take that example, we're not slaying a Goliath. We're not, but we do have giants that come in our way that we feel like sometimes w- it's it's a battle. But what did David have? He had a sling stone, right? The guy was a giant. He was a soldier. He had weapons and he had armor, more than likely, and yet he was defeated. See, that's the power of intentionality. That's the power of the faith that you were talking about earlier. And for us as Christians, we look at a higher power, right? For us, it's Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father. For others, it could be faith in humanity, faith in yourself, faith in the universe that it will provide you, right, with the things that you're searching for. And we were talking about um, having the right things, taking in the right things, right? As far as food is concerned, in consumption, what we consume is what we get out. Remember that old IBM thing that we were talking about before, right? Garbage in,
Garbage in,
garbage
garbage
out.
out. Hmm.
That's it. That's it. And so, you know, um, I will say monk fruit. If you don't know it, find out what that is. It's great. It's wonderful. um, it's a sugar substitute, but it's natural. Um, But on top of that, what about the things that you consume as far as the types of things that you read, the types of
Exactly.
things that you watch, the types of things that you ingest as far as mind, right? What will affect your mind? What will affect your soul, right? These are the things that you should be thinking about when it comes to intentionality, because what you put into yourself, right? It's an investment in yourself. And if you're investing the wrong things, what you're going to get is garbage. And that's the reality of it. So be intentional. Don't put garbage in. Invest in yourself and be intentional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love that. I see you on mic, Erica. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh my God, yes. So thank you for the spirit this morning. That always gets me started too. But what I picked out of his take was intentional risk taking. So,
Mm,
you're intentional with the battles you pick, you're intentional with, the path you pick. Really being intentional in your risk is what I took from his take. So, and the put in what you get out is really important too, because I found just personally that a lot of times what I'm putting in is self-gratifying. I'm not thinking about, the 2 pounds it might cause, or the high blood pressure or things like that. It's like, I want something salty, so I'm going to eat potato chips. So that was really my two key takeaways: is be intentional with the risk you take, and be cognizant of what you put in is what you'll get out. So thank you for that.
awesome. What book did you pick up?
I didn't pick up, oh, that was my Bible. Oh yeah, I just picked up the Bible just so I could show
Oh,
intentionality that I do have one sitting around, and I do try to get some words in, but it was just my Bible.
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And in you picking it up and saying intentionality about having it near, that was one of the things that we have to set ourselves up for success. So if it's important for you to get more water in, as an example, then you should have water in your path, water in your room, water in your refrigerator, where you're going to be spending a quite a bit of time. If you put the other stuff around, then the likelihood of you giving in to temptation is so strong. And a lot of people, get that thing wrong. And they're like, if I could just, I can just resist. Do you understand how much energy it takes to resist temptation? Now, sometimes we don't have a choice. It's just the environment that we're in. But that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of willpower. You're exhausted on the other end of this thing. So the better thing to do is just not to bring the chips in the house in the first place. If they're
I
not
agree.
there, y'all, if you cut me, I could literally ooze Dr. Pepper, because that's how much I love that drink. Everybody knows it. So people like to buy it for me. And guaranteed, when I say I'm not going to have any, somebody's going to buy me one. Like, hey, I was coming over. I thought about your favorite drink, so I brought it with me. So I have to say out loud to the people around me, no, because they're going to bring it. If it's near me, the likelihood of me grabbing one, and I'll tell myself, oh, it's not going to hurt me just to have one. And then once I have the one, now I'm right back in it. I've gone months without drinking a soda because I'm working out every day. I'm being intentional at the beginning of the day. And so I'm in some environment. There's one there, and I was like, hey, I've been good for 6 months. What's the big deal if I have just one? The big deal is now I've got that taste regenerated all over again, and I'm right back on the hunt. I want
Mhm.
it again. I've raised that into, that desire right back up. And so when we have the opportunity to create your environment for success. Be intentional about your environment. Like, I know I need lighting around me because I do this every morning. I don't go to bed at night without making sure that this laptop is already set. I've got the words already prepared so I can flip them up here. I try to remember. Sometimes I don't. Like this morning, I realized I hadn't given everybody the link to the room. But I try to do those things at night. And right on the other side, this is my M3 space. This is the Cassandra Terry morning show space. If I get up and walk around, there's another laptop, and that's where my day job is. so I can slide right into it when it's time to go. If I'm not intentional, if I haven't blocked that time, if I haven't done a few of the things necessary to be prepared for the day, then I'm just making it hard on myself. So I say all that to say, set yourself up for success. Do the little things that are going to make it easier for you to get from where you are to where it is you want to be. If you're trying to get to the gym every morning, lay your clothes out at night. Get somebody to work out with you so somebody's expecting you, and it helps you to get going. If you want to drink more water, good morning, Cassandra Layton. I love your name. If you're looking for more of anything, if you're looking for anything to be different, bring it into your space. You want to write more? Have a good, clean, distraction-free, well-lit desk that you can sit down and do your daily writing. It doesn't matter what it is. You just need to know what it is. You need to have planned for it, and you need the environment set to support those plans. So yes, we have to mind our input. What's going in is important. And then we set up our environment, also the external space, to help us with our dreams and goals as well. Being intentional will permeate every aspect of your life. How you show up, what you're taking in, what you're getting out, what your environment looks like, all of those things can be affected by your determination to be intentional and set yourself up to win at the goals that you've got set up for yourself. I see Deborah Garcia joined us. I'm not sure if you're still there, but love you, Deborah. Hopefully you are. Good to see you. Cassandra Layton, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. It looks like Frederick Thomas, you followed as well. And Doris McCullough, thank you all so much. And let's see, is that Emma Jean, I think it is. Dowdle, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dwayne Witter, you guys are still coming in and you are much appreciated. We are just about to wrap up this edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We have talked about intentionality from all different perspectives, all different areas of our lives. And we did so with my fam five, Jay Pasqua, Denise, Annalise Spiller, and Brian, Brian, your name just went on my head. Brian Smart, Mr. Content, AKA the Dadpreneur. So there's so many different things that we can call him because he's winning on multiple levels right now. And we are all here for all of it. And we've had our special guest with us all day today, Erica Harris. And we are so appreciative of you joining us. Great insight as I expected. So it was nice to not just read it, but to hear those gems falling right out of your mouth, Erica. You are amazing, and you definitely have enriched our time together. We are wrapping up to the show for today. Today is Wednesday all day long, so I hope you're awake. Not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, that you're awake and that you're connected with you, you're connected with your higher power, you are clear about your path and what it is that you're going to do with your day, and then you get busy doing that thing. Erica, before I do my final close, any final thoughts you'd like to share with us before we call it a day?
Sure. Thank you for having me first and foremost. Thank you to the Fab Five for your engagement. Your last comment about energy, it taking energy to avoid things, that's so true, that avoidance is exhaustive. I wanted to close with that instead of, avoiding things and going around it and things, be intentional and address it head on. That has always been my motto. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't, soften it, all of that stuff, because avoidance is exhaustive. Be intentional, be purposeful, and be thankful. And I'm thankful for you having me here today.
Lovely. Great way to wrap it up, guys. You have heard all of our thoughts on intentionality today. We will be back here tomorrow for Thankful Thursday. So tomorrow we're going to look at gratitude, the power of gratitude, and how using it as a tool, how waking up with it as a mindset, moving through life from a perspective of gratitude, how that also is a tool that you can call on. It's a way of life, and it will help you not only move towards the goals that you have for yourself, but give you a life that is so much more enjoyable enjoyable. So gratitude is the topic for tomorrow on Thankful Thursday. We will be right back here at 7:15 a.m. Central, and we look forward to having you all join us. So thank you all for that.
Thank
See
you for
back
joining
tomorrow.
us for this episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.